George Washington was born on February 22, 1732, at the Pope's Creek Estate near Colonial Beach in Westmoreland County, Virginia. He was the first child of Augustine Washington and his second wife, Mary Ball Washington. George had two half-brothers from his father's first marriage, Lawrence and Augustine Jr., and five full siblings, Betty, Samuel, John Augustine, Charles and Mildred. Washington's formal education was limited. He was tutored at home and attended a school run by an Anglican clergyman. He learned the basics of reading, writing and arithmetic, and he also studied geography, history and the classics. Despite his lack of a formal education, Washington developed a strong interest in mathematics and surveying. In 1748, at the age of 16, Washington joined a surveying expedition to the Shenandoah Valley, which sparked his interest in land surveying. In 1749, he was appointed as the official surveyor of Culpeper County, Virginia, a position that gave him valuable experience and income. Washington's military career began in the early 1750s when he was commissioned as a major in the Virginia militia. His first significant military experience came during the French and Indian War from 1754 to 1763, where he served as an aide to General Edward Braddock and gained valuable experience in warfare, despite several early setbacks. In 1754, Washington was involved in the Battle of Fort Necessity, a poorly executed engagement that resulted in his surrender to French forces. Despite this early defeat, Washington's reputation for bravery and leadership grew. In 1755, he distinguished himself during Braddock's ill-fated expedition to capture Fort Duquesne, where he helped organize the retreat after Braddock was mortally wounded. After the French and Indian War, Washington returned to Virginia and managed his family estate at Mount Vernon, which he inherited after the death of his half-brother Lawrence in 1752. Mount Vernon became Washington's lifelong home and the center of his agricultural and business activities. In 1759, Washington married Martha Dandridge Custis, a wealthy widow with two young children, John Parke Custis and Martha Parke Custis. The marriage brought significant wealth and social status to Washington, and he became one of Virginia's most prominent planters. As tensions between the American colonies and the British government escalated in the 1770s, Washington became an outspoken critic of British policies. In 1774, he was elected to the First Continental Congress, where he supported measures to resist British rule. In 1775, following the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War, the Second Continental Congress appointed Washington as the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. His leadership was crucial in organizing and sustaining the colonial forces, despite facing numerous challenges such as shortages of supplies, funding and experienced soldiers. Washington's strategic acumen was demonstrated in key battles such as the surprise attack on Trenton in December 1776 and the subsequent victory at Princeton in January 1777. These victories boosted American morale and helped secure much-needed support from France. The turning point of the war came in 1781 with the Siege of Yorktown, where Washington, with the aid of French forces, managed to trap the British army under General Cornwallis, leading to the British surrender and the end of major hostilities. After the war, Washington retired briefly to Mount Vernon, but he soon realized the need for a stronger national government to replace the Articles of Confederation. He played a key role in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, where he was unanimously elected President of the Convention. In 1789, Washington was unanimously elected as the first President of the United States. His presidency set many important precedents, including the establishment of a cabinet system, the practice of delivering an inaugural address, and the tradition of a peaceful transfer of power. Washington's leadership helped stabilize the new nation, and his policies laid the foundation for its future growth. During his 2 terms in office, Washington focused on strengthening the federal government, establishing a sound financial system, and promoting national unity. He faced challenges such as the Whiskey Rebellion, which he quelled by demonstrating the government's ability to enforce its laws. Washington declined a third term and retired from the presidency in 1797, setting a precedent for the peaceful transfer of power and the tradition of serving only 2 terms. In his farewell address, he warned against the dangers of political parties and foreign alliances, advice that has resonated throughout American history. After his presidency, Washington returned to Mount Vernon, where he managed his plantation and engaged in various civic activities. He continued to correspond with political leaders and remained an influential figure until his death on December 14, 1799, at the age of 67. Washington was known for his strong character, integrity, and leadership skills. He was a man of few words, but commanded respect through his actions and demeanor. His dedication to public service, his commitment to Republican principles, and his ability to inspire and unite people made him a revered figure in American history. Washington's legacy is immense. He is remembered as a military hero, a founding father, and the first president of the United States. Monuments, institutions, and places across the country bear his name, and his contributions to the founding and shaping of the United States are celebrated and studied to this day. Washington's farewell address, his role in the Constitutional Convention, and his leadership during the Revolutionary War and his presidency continue to influence American political thought and practice. His life and legacy exemplify the values of courage, perseverance, and dedication to the common good.